people enjoying themselves, enjoying their lives, living who they love.
Radical, but it's not.
It's like an array of different colors.
Like a different thing to everyone. I don't know. I feel like, because a lot of queerness is like internal, I feel like there's not like a certain way that it like projects itself.
Glossy and sparkly.
Everything beautiful. Anything art.
Queerness doesn't necessarily have a defined aesthetic.
It's hard, and what is most ideal is like this diverse, colorful, intense, beautiful, impossible mix of humanity that is just the most diverse kind of expression of being, both in gender and sexuality, that is possible. But what it ends up looking like can sometimes be as like sort of I don't know, monochrome as cis society.
Fucking.
A label put on people by others who don't really understand.
A collection.
I guess I just like always knew that I was like not the same as like other boys in my class. This is when I was like really young.
I was at a hockey game for my brother, and I like was like on the bleachers, and it was like when I was a kid I had like really bad OCD, so it was like if I do like 100 like knee hits on like the like bleacher steps, then I would be like become a boy, like for sure. Like I thought it was like gonna like confirm it. So I was like, I feel like that's like one of my like most defining like boy moments as like a kid.
I came out in high school first as a lesbian, and then eventually just as a queer person, as my gender identity changed and my partner's gender identity changed. So I came out as a lesbian, and then a queer person, and then in college came out as non-binary and eventually a trans person. And all of this helped me get closer and closer to my true queer identity and self.
It was a lot of confusion growing up, and just like wondering, and like until finally around like maybe like a couple years ago, I like really started thinking about it and like found an identity, and it like really hit me, and it all came together, and I feel like I found a part of myself that I was just confused about for the longest time. And there was a lot of clarity that came with it.
I just always knew, and I never felt the need to tell my parents, and I just dated whoever I want, and it was just always okay.
8th grade, I guess. I don't know, I had a girlfriend in 8th grade. And I guess that kind of like, I didn't kickstart it, but kind of like set it in stone a little bit more. Her name was Sarah. Shit was wild. It was weird. Because it was like, we were in 8th grade and it was like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And then we didn't, it was like, how do we go? What do we even do? What is a relationship? Like, what, are we even dating? Like, is this friends? Like, what do friends do? What do you do when you date, you know? I feel like I've had like a few friends. Like I feel like I have a friend for like sexuality and a friend for like gender. So like the two people that I feel like I've like found myself in that identity the most with.
I would go on countless dates with cis lesbians, even like who didn't necessarily like me, just so I could like listen to their stories of like what was it like to grow up as a little girl and realize you're a lesbian, because I wanted to rewrite that part of my history that had gone wrong. So I thought that out, you know, I even thought it out on blind dates. Like I thought it out, teach myself what does society see as a lesbian and what is it like to live like that. And then I had to relearn it all again as like a non-binary person. Like I don't want to identify as that anymore, and I just have to do it my own way that there isn't a model for, whatever.
I don't think, at least for me, I don't think it was learned or really taught in any way to me specifically, but more picked up secondhand or seen from a distance and admired, you know.
A lot you see in like media and stuff, but I feel like it was just like a lot of stereotypes. So like you can get maybe an idea, but like it wasn't enough.
Yeah, no one really teaches you. There's like a pretty good community of people you can talk to, but at the same time, like in mainstream media, most of the time when you see queer people, they're either disrespected or over-sexualized, which is just not a good way to learn, like either way. And so a lot of it is just like up to you and the people you hang out with.
Queerness is every person more marginalized than myself that taught me how to smash all the constructs of oppression in my mind. That teaches me to be queer. All the people who like came before me and died before me and fought before me taught me how to be queer.
So you kind of have to figure that shit out by yourself, and like you like experience things and you're like, ooh, that's not the moves for me, and then you experience other things and you're like, okay, I fuck with that. So you just kind of have to, it's trial and error, which is kind of sad that it has to be, but also exciting that we get to like discover that for ourselves.